This episode is sponsored in part by PTZ Optics. Why hire a camera operator when the control is in your hands? Visit ptzoptics.com for more information. And by NewTek, makers of the TriCaster TC1. Stun your viewers, not your accountant. Visit newtek.com for more information.
Hey guys, welcome to a snowy, cold, wet Friday night. It's great to be here for another edition of the Retro Buzz. Joined as always, we've got the migraine, Glenn Planamento. Welcome.
Living the headache dream today, everyone. So, hi.
I figured I'd better state that before they think you're hungover or something.
I wish I was, then the migraine would have a meeting. It's just one of those hard work weeks. Very difficult work week this week. Very stressful. But hey, it is Friday. So come on, Glenn. Get with the program. Let's enjoy the Retro Buzz and get this weekend started off right.
That's right. And also we have the Doctor of Style, Mr. Douglas Smith.
Doctor of Style. I like that. I was going to call Glenn the afterlife of the party since he's feeling downtrodden.
Well, I had to think of something, but hey, we see you guys in the chat room as well. I see Adam Calv is in the chat room. We've got, who else have we got here? We got Hollywood Polo. We've got the 40-year-old gamer. Who else have we got in here? Let me look through.
We got Paul Berries. We got Richie Zapp. We have Cybermind Arcade. We have Mark Whitman.
Disability.
Bobby Broadway's here too. Goofy, was it Goofy Foot? Hey, Goofy Foot, he's a good guy. Sorry, my eye is also blurry too. Goes with the migraine, I guess.
Angel, Paul, what's going on, guys? Doug, who do you got over there?
Oh, we got Juan, we got Justin J, we got Jay Heath, we got Biggie D, we got Al. Yeah, lots of good people in the chat. So
awesome.
Pleasure to have everybody on this Friday. Join us.
Yeah, we always like getting this thing kicked off, and I kind of wanted to kick it off with some controversy. I love controversy. I love stuff that gets your blood boiling and get your Friday revved up, because obviously Glenn needs that rev up. So I want to start some controversy here. So a couple weeks ago, as we know, At Games has put out firmware. It used to be on a weekly basis, okay? But now they have changed to monthly, guys. It's been a monthly release, usually the end of the month. And after last month's,
and you got to stay away from the machine for a couple of hours. You know that, right?
Right. And
once a month, you got to keep away because a little freaky. Get him some chocolate.
I've waited for a couple days before updating, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's safe. It's safe. It's safe." Okay. I learned my lesson from beta testing. I updated my machine, updated all my pinball packs. Then I found that I could not control any of the volume. None of the haptics worked on the Zaccaria and Taito tables, but they worked on the built-in ones. And I'm like, well, this is just a fine how do you do. I can't even play. This is not playable. You had no volume control. It's not even so much the haptics. I could have been okay without the haptics, for a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I messaged At Games, and complete transparency, I have a tech Skype chat, which I don't know how much longer I'll be in it. I went in there and I said, "Hey guys, anything we know about this?" And they were like, "Well, it's on the game manufacturers, Zaccaria and Taito. We gotta wait for them." Well, today, if you want to call it fixed, for all intents and purposes, it looks like it's fixed. It looks like it's fixed. I tried a few tables, so if you haven't done so, it's not firmware. You got to go to your add-ons and go in there and update your packs. The volume's working again. I have to go in and reset my defaults. It seems like it's working. There's a lot of buzzing on the haptics. I'm just going to warn you guys, but for all intents and purposes, I have volume control, Doug, so I am happy with that, at least from there. But that really bothers me.
Well, yeah, because the update, I mean, what did it do? Essentially brought you back what you were supposed to have from the get-go, right? It didn't vastly improve any features. Am I wrong? Am I talking out of turn here? You didn't get any new bells and whistles. You just basically got back to square one.
Well,
originally, right? Or
originally it was supposed to bring haptics to the Zaccaria tables, whatever you want to call them, and Taito. Before we didn't have that. Remember, if you've read, I know you converted yours to a PC, but the built-in tables were the only ones that had the haptics in the flippers and everything like that. The
Gottlieb tables. Okay.
Yeah, the Gottlieb tables. So I was like, okay, I'll bite. I'll update it. well as our famous Conti in the chat room says, never update Act Games products. And I've noticed a trend here, and maybe I'm just going to bark this out because I know there's a lot of people out there that are, and I'm going to take it off these guys because this is not a reflection of them. This is strictly my opinion, and my opinion only. I feel like Act Games has gotten to the point where if you say something bad about them, they ghost you. If you have any kind of criticism that you bring to the table about the product, they ghost you. They ignore you. They forget that you even existed, and they forget the guys that put them back on the map when they had the low reputation. That bothers me. Just respond. What happened to the Act Games of old where they would respond and say, hey, guys, we know you're upset. We know something happened, but what happened to the transparency, guys? Am I asking for too much here?
No, I would second that notion. I would say there's been a obvious trend that you can see throughout the chatter of the Facebook groups and Reddit and just various displeasure across the Act Games community, specifically based around firmware updates, whether it be the pinball machine, whether it be the ALU. There's so many people that are just like, hey, every time I get a firmware update, my machine actually gets worse. I lose a functionality that I already had. It keeps signing me out when I'm signed in. It's just, your customer base is losing faith in your product based solely on the firmware changes that you're making to theoretically improve the consumer product end game, so to speak. So I think they definitely need to take a long, hard look, go, lock themselves up in the boardroom or whatever and say, hey, let's look at this roadmap. Let's, shore up why we're doing what we're doing, find out why we continually, keep stumbling over our own feet and shooting ourselves in the foot with these firmware updates. Are we really improving the overall end user experience, or are we actually making things worse? Because if you just look on the forums and the message boards and everything like that, the overall consensus right now, and probably for the last 5 months, if I'm being honest, has been that they are continually making things worse. So if you want that consumer feedback and you truly want to, listen to your customers, I think you guys need to pump the brakes and, find out if you're really doing more harm than good, because it feels like you're doing more harm than good, and you're kind of souring a lot of that good reputation that you worked to rebuild over the years.
Glenn, you make products, okay? And I remember the Star Wars yoke was delayed for different reasons or another. You had, when you did the Kickstarter, right? It was delayed. You had shipping issues and stuff. You were completely transparent. And I remember the comments on the stream going, it's okay, Glenn. Thanks for letting us know. We'll work with you. We're not asking for refunds. Is that the approach that they need to take going forward?
Well, me, I think Arcade 1-Up, Act Games, New Wave Toys, iArcade, all should do that. In this day and age, it's not like it was 10, 15 years ago where the company would just release stuff and people had to send letters for issues, stuff like that. It's all almost real time now. And we have all these groups, we have communities, we have YouTube, Twitter, this new thing called Discord. I think I've heard something about Discord out there too. So, the companies have a very easy way to communicate. And these companies used to do that. I would say over the past, pretty much, I think the pandemic is kind of when they kind of shied away from more direct communications.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it'll come back. I mean, right now, these organizations themselves are having, they're having staffing problems. There's definitely supply chain problems. That's, I've just been releasing a couple of products right now. The Disc-O-Tron joystick and the spinner, the overhaul encompassing of Tron Gate, which is still going on. We have our new 8-way, 4-way switcher we've got coming out, and it's just hard getting them here. There's just supply issues, there's boat issues. I will say, though, if you guys want, I have a poll on my channel talking about Act Games firmware. Do you feel like Act Games has been doing a good job with the firmware, or do they do a little bit better job with the firmware? So far, right now, with the votes, we have 71% saying that they need to test more before they release the firmware. 29% says they're doing a great job. And again, I apologize. I never slur my speech normally. My head is killing me today.
Sure. But Doug, the whole reason that they went from weekly, which I agree, monthly was great. They should still do that. The whole reason was that they could have better QA on this firmware release that they're bringing out, but they're breaking things that they shouldn't have even messed with in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's I'll give them that it's a very complex process because they're trying to basically create a firmware that goes across multiple different peripherals, whether it be the core, the Legends Mini, the gamer, the all the different at Games Legends ecosystems products. They're trying to make that one firmware that does it all type of things. But when you do that, you're also making it so hard for your QA team or whoever you've got on the back end that's supposed to test this thoroughly across multiple different peripherals, because I got a sneaking suspicion that's not getting done. They'll probably hit the top 3 performing products and call the rest of them a good good enough, and that's not good enough, not to the community, because there's those people out there that the core is their bread and butter, or the At Games Legends Ultimate machine or the Mini or whatever have you. That one particular machine, that's all they want, that's all they need. And if it's getting treated like a second class citizen, then it's not beneficial. And yeah, it was great, and I was happy to hear them going to the monthly firmware update as opposed to the weekly, because I was never a fan of the weekly because it just never seemed to get tested. We were testing it, and they were still asking us Monday night before a Tuesday release that, hey, go ahead and test this. It goes live in 6 hours. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. That I'm not sitting on my hands waiting for you guys to, email me as if I have nothing in my life going on where I can sit here and test your firmware solidly for 6 hours while you release it,
and that was
next morning.
That was my complaint to them when the influencers / YouTubers, you guys, I don't know, you calling them YouTubers now or you call them influencers, whatever you call them. The problem was they wanted the YouTubers to not only test the firmware, but they wanted them to also make videos about it. And that's where I think they went wrong. They should have went to some of the real techie guys in the community. And I'm not saying some of the influencers aren't techie, so don't shoot me for that.
I'm not.
But they should have went to the guys that are really active in the community, wanting to make it better, aside from the YouTubers and content creators and influencers, whatever you want to call them, and done it that way, because I think they would have gotten more out of it, because the content creators are busy making videos, just like Doug said. 6 hours before, Doug, you might have been making a video.
Or having a job, a life.
No. We make all our money from YouTube. Don't you know that? Come on.
Well, somebody should clue me in then, because I'm doing it wrong.
But I'm serious though. That's what they should have done. And I'm not trying to take anything away from the content creators. If you got the time and you want to do it, great. In the beginning, I did spend a lot of time with that, but then I was like, man, like Doug said, I got a job, I got a family, I got to make content. Like, I'm not doing it anymore. So, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on that. I don't know if you guys agree in the chat room if that's kind of how the direction that they should have went. But I think that's the direction they should have went. I think a lot of the content creators would probably agree with that they should have had 2 banks. You had your guys creating the content and the guys, testing your firmware, but not 6 hours before. It should have been like, I told them 3 to 5 days at least, minimum, once you knew you ironed it all out. But neither here nor there. My issue is a month goes by and you break more than you fixed. I have a problem with that.
Yeah, that's what I said. Just, lock everybody up, go back to square one and say, hey, what's our goal? Why are we doing this? Why are we stumbling? Identify the root cause of the situation and then nip it in the butt. Because like I said, you're doing more damage to not only your reputation, but your products, but your consumer base is lost faith, where, the rallying cry in all your fan groups is don't update, never update. And, the number one common question every week is, hey, is this safe to, is it safe to update yet? Everybody's looking out there, like peeking through the door, like, does anybody want to be the guinea pig and test it first? Like, nobody wants
I'm done doing that.
I really take my hat off to them. I mean, At Games has added a lot of features. There is remember when the first machine came out, the version 1 firmware, it had some nice features on it. But since that day, they've added so many different functions and features to that machine, most notably the jukebox, which is still the best feature that the machine has, got to say. But there's just been so much. But if you're going to add features, you have to, like Doug was saying, you have to iron out those other ones.
Yeah.
The worst thing I've noticed is when I finally got these machines back up and running, which took a while from the basement, was you update the firmware, a lot of your stuff that was working is broke.
Right.
Point up X breaks, your add-on X breaks, different ways to get into them. The pinball stuff all changes. It gets frustrating to the point where I gotta admit the Legends Ultimate was a machine I went to a lot, just because it had a lot of games on it. It was easy, it had a nice big screen, good sound, but I don't play it as much just because I updated the firmware. Like, I don't feel like going through all that process again, getting everything working again. It's just I'll just go play something else.
I agree.
Which you don't want. You don't want that from your fan base. You want those guys engaged, especially since a lot of their models are, paid, paid for minutes for going online, downloading new content. I mean, the II Arcade, they do the firmwares, but it works after the firmware updates. There's not problems with anything on it. At least not maybe once they had a problem with it. Other than that, it worked.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you guys do the talking. I'm doing more slurring than.
No, we're good. In fact,
I'll nod my head.
I want to get off of this topic. Doug, why don't you kind of take us into one of our first news, I guess, articles? Would you, the Bioshock movie?
Yeah. So Netflix, and they're going to be making a Bioshock movie, which, I mean, this is kind of news, but it kind of isn't. Bioshock's been in development for some sort of theatrical movie for many, many years. It's got to the point where it was almost like 30 days away from being filmed. Gore Verbinski directed Pirates of the Caribbean movies and a couple others. He was attached to direct it originally, and that project fell through, and it just went back to the bottom of the pile. But Netflix has signed on saying, hey, we're going to be making a Bioshock movie and or Bioshock universe, so potentially television series, movie, multiple things, a lot of things they can do with it. But if anybody's going to do it and actually get it done, get it out there to the audience, it'll be Netflix. So that's what excites me the most about this. Anybody that's played the games, I mean, it screams make this into a movie or a TV show or something like that. I mean, it's got a good feel and a vibe to it, and aesthetic, with if you're going off the first series, the underwater aspect, the 1940s noir vibe type of thing. So it's a fantastic game, fantastic franchise. I'm excited to see it get, its due love, so to speak. And I'd love to see, new audiences that are not familiar with the game get exposed to it via the television series or movie or whatever they choose to do with it.
Well, I don't know how. I know you guys always tell me when I get excited about these movies, you're like, just remember, it's a video game movie.
Yep.
It has that.
Yep.
And I'm excited. I mean,
you know what?
I am.
But I think Netflix might have a better track record at just making a little bit better quality.
I mean, we'll use The Witcher as an example.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, true.
Super highly, accepted, and everybody's clamoring. The Witcher is great. Season 2 was even more revered than season 1. Video game adaptation done by Netflix. So I mean, they're off to a great start.
Listen, every squirrel finds a nut once in a while. Okay.
It's true. It's true.
No, Al says in the chat room here, I'm gonna pull that up again. He says a great game and probably a great movie. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. I'm gonna hold out. I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed.
And then I got a chat here for Glenn. This is from Detroit Love. He says my Thunderstick GRS switchable 4 to 8-way restrictor all-in-one kit is arriving Tuesday. So thank you, Glenn.
Sweet. Definitely let us know how it is. So far, the feedback's been excellent. Now, that was the first collaboration between Steven Berger Designs and GRS. It's the first collaboration. He's designed a lot more things to coming out. I mean, he's a genius. This guy's a genius. So I hope Detroit Love loves it. Other people seem to have liked it so far.
He has to love it.
I'm biting my tongue. I got 2 other companies who manufacture some big things with the community who are looking to work with me and my team. So I can't tell them. I want to. I still want to announce it, but I don't want to blow it. I got to be careful. But we have some really good stuff coming out.
One of the companies, everybody you know and love growing up, it's Pound Puppies. The GRS Pound Puppies products, they're coming. You thought Arcade 1-Up Paw Patrol was, the bee's knees. Well, wait until you see the
Wait a
Retro
second.
Show Pound Puppy product.
Did he tell? He told you
pound puppies, like puppies in a pound.
No,
not some other kind of pound.
You told me it was. You told me it was GRS Paddleball. That's what you told me.
You guys are gonna ruin.
Come
these
on,
deals.
man.
But in all seriousness, there's someone who reached out and we're in the very early stages working with that's blowing my mind. And when that gets announced, hopefully we'll get announced. Everything works out. It's gonna be a game changer for not only me, but for the community as large and for the GRS products. It'll be huge. Is it gonna be huge? It's gonna be huge.
All right, Doug. Another movie that was a hit that was based off a video game.
So, technically speaking, Sonic the Hedgehog is the most profitable domestic video game box office movie of all time. I think it made like $320 million domestically here in the States. So we talk about the poor track record of video game movie adaptations and almost always them being poor. Sonic the Hedgehog, not not one to shy away. Almost got bit by that same curse because there's, very evident that there were some poor studio decisions being made right out of the gate with like the design aesthetic of Sonic the Hedgehog in general, where he looked like a freaking creepy vampire. But they took like a $20 million hit, went back, delayed the movie like almost an entire year, and corrected the mistakes, listened to the audience feedback, which was good. And the Sonic the Hedgehog movie was a big hit. So much so that Paramount and Sonic and Sega and the whole franchises, everybody is very happy with how well the franchise is doing. They already made a second one. It's due out in April. Not only that, they said, hey, guess what? We're going to make a third one. And on top of that, we're going to make a Paramount Plus TV show starring Knuckles. And it's going to be, Idris Elba reprising his role because he's going to be the voice actor that plays Knuckles in the Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So obviously lots of cool stuff to look forward to in the future for the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. And it's great that they're confident enough to, number one, greenlit a sequel before the sequels even, hit theaters. And number two, put even more on top of it, say, hey, we're going to give Idris Elba and Knuckles his own spin-off show. So I'm excited for all that.
It says a lot because that could have been such a dumpster fire. And it was looking to be a dumpster fire, but they said, like I said, they took a $20 million hit. Now, that's a lot of money, but they did it right. They listened to people, and they made that money back and more, and potentially now have a good franchise for it. So I take my hat off to them for doing that, because when I saw that first trailer, man, that was some creepy stuff.
So you're saying it could have been like a dumpster fire like the new Mortal Kombat movie?
That wasn't that bad, but it was
bad. Got greenlit for a sequel as well.
Yeah, it wasn't horrible.
It was bad.
But I still say the first Mortal Kombat film is still my favorite. Mortal Kombat 2, not so much, and this one, not so much. But it could have been worse. It could have been Mario Brothers. It's still, to me, the worst one. I'm sorry. Mario Brothers is still like the pinnacle of the absolute worst video game franchise. How could they screw that up? Yet they did.
It's because you haven't seen the Double Dragon movie.
Fair enough. I have not.
All right. Talk to us a little bit about this. You sent me over this link for this tweet, and the only thing I could come up with is they are actually going to manufacture a DeLorean car. Is that they're bringing it back?
Yeah.
Well, that's what they say, but we'll see. I mean, it's the internet. People like to, pre-announce things before they're even close to anywhere being, a physical actual product. Like, suppose the rumor / the news release is that DeLorean is coming back. They're bringing back the car, a new revamped design. It's going to be all electric, and it's going to be modernized, whatever. They didn't show anything but this little silhouette we get here. And if you actually click on the website, there's no news, there's no information. It's just like, hey, sign up if you want news and information, which doesn't exist. But it also has a shop button, and please click on that shop button so we can all laugh together. So you can't buy a car, you can't see the car,
but you can get a
hoodie. They will sell you crazy overpriced T-shirts and hoodies that just say DeLorean on them. So if you have $135, you could buy a hoodie, or $125 for a pullover that just says DeLorean. So
what's funny though?
A T-shirt
starter for a car.
$50 for a T-shirt.
But they were manufacturing the DeLoreans, the old, gas guzzling, way underpowered, 0 to 60 in 24 minutes car. This will be a revamped one. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't.
So I mean, truth be told, if this actually does become a physical product, just spitball. Take a guess, Glenn. How much do you think it's going to cost? I mean, because at no point do we have any kind of news or information or insight to anything about this other than, hey, here's a shadowy picture of our car and we're going to supposedly make it.
It's going to be $90,000 to $100,000 car. That's my guess.
That would be my suspicion as well. It'll premium luxury, even though it'll go like 0 to 60 in like 5 hours or something like that.
Right.
I mean,
that's what people don't realize.
I think it's cool that they're going
looking car. Right?
It was a terrible performance. Yeah. No, it's fine. Yeah, DeLorean. The original DeLorean was a terrible performance.
Horrible.
Vehicle. It looked awesome, but it was a piece of crap as a car. The new one, all electric. Obviously, they're going to copy as much from Tesla as they possibly can. However, time will tell if this actually does get made and produced. We'll see. But I expect this to be a luxury car that's close to 6 figures.
Car had electrical problems. It is underpowered. The rack of pinion steering sucked, but it was a nice looking car, and the gold wing doors. So, and then Back to the Future really put that car on the map, because it was really a car company fell apart because of cocaine. The guy snorted up all the money.
was getting ready to say, if anything actually put that car on the map, it was cocaine addiction. And
That's exactly right. That's right. But again, it's an iconic car. I wish them the best. I do. Electric, they can do a little bit better, as far as power goes. But I don't know, man. Trying to kickstart stuff with T-shirts. I don't know.
Yeah. I'll get sued for this, but if you guys are really interested in DeLorean T-shirts and hoodies, I'll show you the exact same. I'll open a Spreadshirt account right now. And I'll show you the exact same designs for half price.
I gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Yeah. But oh man, I just when I clicked on that shop button and saw those hoodies and T-shirts for those crazy prices, like I thought Arcade 1-Up's $30 T-shirts are bad, but $50 for a T-shirt that just says DeLorean. I mean, it better come with a bag of cocaine for that price.
Well, there goes our revenue split this week.
And today's sponsor was the DeLorean.
Was Colombian cocaine.
Glenn, isn't it a certain time? Do we have something going on right now?
We do have another game of the week. Let's see how archaic we can go this week. So let's see what we have for game of the week. It's time again for Game of the Week. And what game are we looking at this time? It's Sega and Gremlin's Carnival. Carnival is a fixed shooter developed by Gremlin and released by Sega in the arcades in 1980. It was one of the first featured games with a bonus round. Carnival was ported to the Atari 2600, ColecoVision, and in television. By Coleco. A licensed Atari 8-bit family version was published in 1982 by Analog Software, the commercial software label for Analog Computing magazine. In 1983, Acorn Soft published Carnival for the BBC Micro. The goal of the game is to shoot at targets while conserving a limited ammunition supply for as long as possible. 3 rows of targets scroll across the screen in alternating directions. These include rabbits, ducks, owls, and extra bullet targets, with higher rows awarding more points. If a duck reaches the bottom row without being shot, it will come to life and begin flying down towards the player. If any ducks reach the bottom of the screen in this manner, it will eat some of the player's bullets. New ducks are added to the top row at intervals. A large pop-up target above the top row can either award or subtract bullets or points when hit. A spinning wheel with 8 pipes also sit above the top row. The point value of the pipes decreases with every shot that does not hit one of them. In addition, a bonus counter increases by the value for every target shot in the 3 rows and can be collected by shooting the letters of the word bonus. The bonus stops increasing as soon as any letter is shot. A round ends when all targets and pipes have been shot. The player receives bonus points for all unused bullets. Then the player plays a bonus round in which a large bear with a target walks across the screen. Each time the bear is shot, it rears off for a second and then begins walking more quickly in the other direction. The object is to shoot the bear as many times as possible until it escapes off the screen using unlimited ammunition. Following the bonus round, the next wave begins. Each additional bonus round adds a bear to the screen for a maximum of 4. Higher levels feature increased target point values, more ducks, fewer extra bullet targets, faster moving targets, and an increased rate at which the ducks appear. The game ends when the player's ammunition supply is exhausted through firing and or being eaten by ducks. Carnival is one of the few games that has 2 different PCBs, one for each version. Normally a game only has one PCB with a dip switch that sets to either upright or cocktail mode. The upright and cocktail cabinets each come with 2 variants, one wood grain, the other painted orange and white. The tune that plays through the game is Over the Waves, a commonly used tune associated with carnivals and fun fairs.
The game's General Instruments AY38910 chip allows for a relatively complex rendition of the sound and music effects. Electronic Arts called the ColecoVision port of Carnival a letter-perfect recreation of the arcade original that's not to be missed. Carnival has fairly simple graphics and is really fun to play on any way you can play it. Obviously, if it's a home console, the ColecoVision has absolutely the best home port. However, the Atari 2600 and Intellivision are not bad, but the Atari version's controller is much better to use than the Intellivision controller when playing this game. Of course, the best and ultimate way is playing it through MAME. It's a very, very fun game and really challenges your eye-hand coordination. This is definitely a game I highly recommend you check out if you have not played it once already. It's very addictive and I think you'll enjoy it. Well, that's it for this Game of the Week. Be sure to join me next week for another classic game. But in the meantime, remember always to tell your family and friends that you love them. And remember, no matter what you do or how you play it, just remember to game on.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I loved Carnival. And actually, I had the ColecoVision version, and that's probably the one I played the most. But I feel so sorry for people with an Intellivision trying to use that pad to play that game. It's like torture.
Carnival was a good game. I mean, it kind of got. I mean, I could play
A little
it
before
long,
Doug's
but...
time, I'm sure. Doug.
It was, and I remember like walking up and seeing it in the arcade, and just being like, "Where's the joystick?" Next, and then walking on. Obviously, there's other games that didn't use joystick that were able to captivate my attention. If they would have put the Sega logo bigger and bluer, maybe it would have got a quarter from me back in the day. But yeah, it just it was hard to captivate my attention in the 90s when you got things like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, NBA Jam, Turtles, Simpsons, all that type of thing going on in the background.
Dude, yeah, ducks eating bullets. Eating bullets.
So did Duck Hunt.
So did Big Buck Hunter, because you can do that on there. So, yeah. Speaking of NBA Jam, let's all have a gripe session, because that's about where it's going to be here in. I know we all sigh heavy for this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't sigh because I knew exactly what I was.
We knew it was
what
coming.
I expected last week. Yeah, I was about to say, anybody that was under the misguided assumption that they were going to announce NFL Blitz last week, that's on you. I mean, that's your fault.
Yeah,
that's
Shaq
fault
would
for
not be
listening
doing
to
that.
anybody that tried to tell you otherwise.
No.
And I know there was a lot of YouTube channels that were like, NFL Blitz is happening. I haven't seen a retraction video or I'm sorry video from any of those people, so that should probably tell you where they're,
Did Shaq play in the NFL?
Really lie.
Doug, did Shaq play in the NFL?
No.
So where did they get the NFL Blitz was coming?
It's one of those things where people try to make connections because they just want something to happen. They try to wish it into existence, and I get that. I understand that. It makes perfect sense that you would
I know where they got it.
Want to, yeah, like I get that, but
John D told them, and they believed it.
Well, there's your problem again. As another person that has notorious track record for making stuff up and being, untruthful to the audience just for the sake of, pandering to an audience. But anyways, what we got announced is a larger, extra large NBA Jam cabinet, taller, slightly wider / deeper control panel. But all intents and purposes, it's the exact same NBA Jam machine from past. It's just taller. Doesn't have a riser. Same games, same lineup, same everything. It's a bigger machine, 19-inch monitor. But here's the kicker, though, and here's what really intrigues me, irks me, whatever. I don't even know how to explain how I feel about this, because the news came out that this is going to be a $5.99 product coming out this summer. Now, obviously, that may change, but as of the release, the news, press outlets, all that, they said $5.99. That's how much this machine's going to cost. Here's the problem with that, in my opinion. $5.99, I don't have a problem with the price personally, but as a whole and as perspective and just the optics of that as Arcade 1-Up as a whole, they're going to sell you this with a larger machine, more wood, bigger screen, bigger monitor for $5.99. Current retail price of the NBA Jam arcade cabinet, as it stands, normal version, $549. That was the markup price that, Arcade 1-Up said, hey, due to component issues and the cost of wood, according to John D., which I'll leave that statement as it is the reason why they raised all their prices. Their pinball machines went up 40%, the cost of wood, all that kind of stuff. They're going to try to sell you this for $590 $599, excuse me, which is $50 more than the current asking price of the NBA Jam current model. They're also going to try to sell you an Killer Instinct Pro line model for $999, which is essentially the same thing as this machine, only with different controls and speakers. Okay, your current Killer Instinct machine is $700. It's smaller than this, has a smaller monitor, has the same controls and everything. So less wood, smaller components, cost more. So right out of the gate, you have this glaring, issue with what the facts are with your products, how much you should be charging, how much you could be charging. Like, I get it. Your company, you're designed to make money. I have no problem with you making money. I have a problem with you telling your customers one thing that is blatantly false for no other reason to save face value. Like, this should be like the heroes, welcome to the, the community with this $599 price point. But it just makes such a head scratching, move to say, hey, we're going to sell you a bigger, better version of something while we're also still trying to sell smaller, less competent versions of other games for more money. It just, what is going on?
Well, the other thing I want to point out to this, if you've seen side-by-side comparisons when they had the machine, on some of the pictures at the Shack reveal, the deck height is the same height as the 3/4 scale.
Yeah.
So you're getting a bigger machine, but your deck is still lower. And I think iArcade's the only one that has it at the right side. Oh,
yeah,
you get a bigger model.
You get 2 inches bigger monitor and you get more wood.
More wood.
Like I said, $599, good price point.
2 more inches and more wood? Women are going to go nuts.
Granted, people were buying iPhones for like $150 more because it had like an 1/8 of an inch larger when it was like, was it like the 6 went to the 7?
Well, wait a second, that's Apple. Arcade One Up hasn't earned that yet.
Well, that's the route they're going down to. The problem is, like I said, they muddy the waters when they try to say, hey, we're going to sell you a Pro line machine for $1,000. That is the same thing essentially we're selling for $599, just with some different speakers and different controls. Even if you bought those speakers and controls at MSRP from whatever manufacturer, didn't pay any kind of like group buy, anything like that, you would still be overcharging your customers $200.
But wait a second. Do you think maybe the PCB is bigger because it's a bigger machine?
No, that's the thing.
Maybe it has a fan on it.
Everything's the same. Everything's the same. The artwork looks hideous, and I get it. It's a combination with Shaq, so Shaq's got to throw his silhouette on there. I get that. Not a problem. Teach their own. You can cover that up. But here's the thing. Like, this is the sign of things to come. Like, you're going to get a Pac-Man extra large cabinet. You're going to get a Street Fighter extra large cabinet. You're going to get a Mortal Kombat extra large cabinet. Oh, you want the Pro Series? Well, guess what? Those are also going to be available. It's going to be the thing we've warned everybody about, where you buy one thing and it immediately gets outdated, 3 months, 6 months down the line. That's going to happen. That's going to continue to happen. That's a proven track record for anything in the electronic space. What I want the audience and I want the consumers to start being more cognizant about, because I see just like this blanket love for Arcade One Up, and that's great. I enjoy their products too, but I don't enjoy the business practices or the act of basically blatantly lying to your consumers about why, how, when, where you do your business in terms of the products you sell to them. Like, if you're going to try to tell people that, hey, the price point for Killer Instinct is a result of component issues where the cost of wood, even though we don't use like rich mahogany or anything like that, the cost of wood is just astronomical, so we had to raise our price. The licensing for Killer Instinct was just astronomical. If you're trying to sell people on the idea that the licensing of Killer Instinct is more than the licensing of Star Wars or NBA Jam, you're out of your freaking mind. And if that is true, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. If that is true, John D., you're not as good as you think you are at your job, plain and simple.
Doug has spoken.
Mm-hmm.
Now you need to listen.
Wait. I thought in the contract I got to do the rants.
No, today, because you have the migraine, you gave permission to Doug. Remember in pre-show, you gave permission to Doug. Listen, guys, we're over the point. There's a lot of shows out there right now. A lot of live streams talking about this stuff. It's no slam on them. But one thing that we can always say that we've done since day one is we've told you the truth. We've called it straight down the middle, whether we been working with the company or not working with the company. And I think that statement still holds true today, right, guys? We're not going to pussyfoot around on this. This is the reality of how things are. But I can see where these guys got the NFL Blitz thing because of them putting out that whole big arcade one-up thing down in Miami Stadium. But it seems like they're going after a higher end now, more adult size because of the next story, Doug.
I mean, it's a nice tie-in or whatever. But so the NBA All-Star Game is this weekend, specifically Sunday, but it's All-Star Weekend, and they have an interesting cross-promotion. This isn't the first time we've seen, one-off cabinets with Mortal Kombat, Supreme, and all these other companies, Champion, Pac-Man. Well, now they've partnered with Michelob Ultra, because when you think arcade gaming, you think Michelob Ultra. I'm sure somebody out there does, but there's these special variations of the NBA Jam cabinet with Michelob Ultra branding on it that they're giving away. If you're on Facebook, I guarantee you've probably seen an ad, because that's how targeted ads work. But if you don't like those ads, you want to buy this, maybe you're a huge Michelob Ultra fan, maybe you're a huge NBA Jam fan. Well, now is your opportunity. Here's the thing, and I will applaud them. So this is $700. Normally you're like, oh my God, it's just a re-stickered version of the cabinet, just like Supreme. They're charging an astronomical price. This one supposedly comes with a mini fridge in it, and I gotta applaud them on that. I did that mod like a year and a half ago, specifically on my NBA Jam cabinet.
So you're the reason that they did this, stole your idea.
Fridgegate.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, if they stole my idea, I guess they could send me a case of Michelob Ultra. I don't drink, so it'd be wasted on me. But I mean, this one at least warrants more of a upcharge than their previous silly, partnerships where like the Supreme cabinet was $800 and their Champion Pac-Man cabinet. All those other things are just marked up. This one's $250. That's the normal MSRP currently for those countercades, the 2-player ones. I don't know how many they would possibly sell of these, because I just can't imagine how many people are out there thinking, you know what? I want my NBA Jam cabinet to have Michelob Ultra logos all over it.
Well, you got to think of the audience, right? They want to get this in the guys that have their own bar at home.
Yeah, I mean, they're going after that same demographic target audience.
They're going after the adults, not the kids now.
Yeah, and that's why you've seen Arcade 1-Up kind of cater more towards premium price point things. They don't want to be considered that toy product anymore. They won Toy of the Year, 2019?
Yeah.
Was it?
2019.
Yeah, they don't want to be toy. They want to be a premium product. That's also why we're getting up in those $500, $600, $700, $800,000 price points. They don't want to be that cheap product you find at Walmart. They want to be a premium retail product.
They succeeded.
Yep, there you go.
Yep.
I mean, that is the sole reason why their prices have crept up. It's not because all the, smoke that has been trying to sold. That is a nice blanket opportunity for them to hide behind. But in reality, it's just, hey, we're just trying to, manipulate ourselves into a more premium aspect. And I get that, and I understand that, and I respect that. I just wish you would be more open and honest about
What would help that? Quality
Do tell.
controllers. Some quality controllers from GRS. That would bring them up a couple levels. Just saying.
Well, and guys, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, it's stupid to have a full-size cabinet that's 67 inches high and just use a 3/4. Because, I mean, for some people, they might want that. But I've never had somebody come into my arcade here and say, man, I wish this was bigger. I wish this was taller. I was telling Doug in pre-show that I have a buddy of mine that comes over. He plays Golden Tee every time he comes over here. He plays my Galaga cabinet. I think that a lot of us that are in this community, in this niche, we see the flaws in this stuff, and we kind of are trying to shape the product. But in all reality, I don't know if people are actually thinking any of this. Like, they see a giant cabinet, they might be like, man, that thing's... It's kind of like, Doug, you made mention of the iPhone, right? They brought back the smaller size because a lot of people did not want the bigger size iPhone. They liked that iPhone 4 size, right? My
mother-in-law was just in here downstairs talking to my wife, and we're trying to explain her new phone that she just got, and it looks like a freaking iPad to me. I'm like, what is that? She's like, oh, it's my new phone. It's the whatever version. I'm like, why do you have a freaking tablet as a phone? I mean, just teach their own. Like, I get it. Like, but going back to like the Shack Edition, the XL, I truly think that is a good decision. Or a good direction for Arcade 1-Up to go to. I like the cleaner design without the riser and everything. that will turn some people off, because I know there is a smidgen of the community that don't even use the riser. They like their machines, flat on the floor, and they sit there and play. That's fine. Space is an issue. So a bigger machine, not necessarily something that everyone's could gravitate towards.
Yeah, can I get that in a smaller size, Doug?
They already did the baby cade.
You can.
They already did your inspired baby cade.
Your arcade 1-up juniors, your countercades, your wallcades, which are a fantastic selling product that they don't even acknowledge on their own website, which cracks me up still to this day. But just going back to if they're going to sell something that's that big and has those, a larger monitor and a better design aesthetic, and it's going to be $599, that's great. But you've literally just exposed your entire 3/4 scale line to price gouging. I mean, that's what you've done.
But they only did it for one machine, though.
Well, that's the thing, though. One machine now, Golden Tee.
Oh, no,
next. Like I said, we know the track record, the reissues, the re-releases. We know what's going to be next. If you don't know and you don't expect that, that's on you, because like I said, there's 3 years worth of history where they've clearly laid out how they're going to do things, why they're going to do things, and it just rinse, cycle, repeat. It makes money. I get it. I understand it. But like I said, you're shooting your own line in the foot with that 3/4 scale line with these $750 X-Men arcade cabinet, when you're like, hey, maybe down the line we can release a bigger one that's better, has bigger monitor, that's wider, that's taller, and charge less money than we should have been charging to begin with.
And Paul Barnes, you won the internet tonight, sir, with his comment. He said the average person does not care about poor quality arcade 1-up cabinets, and he is 100% correct. They're buying this, either it's an impulse buy, it's a nostalgia heartstrings buy, or it's something that a friend of theirs had, and they're like, hey, that's really cool, where'd you get it? And then they go and buy it. It's not something that we're doing. Now, I do agree with you, Doug. I like the streamlined look without having a riser. I think that's a great way to move forward. I hope they do that with the 3/4 scale, like they started doing with some of the other ones, making them a little taller. I think, Glenn, your Tron one is like that, right? It's a little bit taller than all the rest of them.
Yeah, no, like a fuller piece.
Yeah, right. What he said.
Oh, okay. So it's just added on to make it big. But still, if they could streamline it the same way, I think that would be good.
I mean, they just prove they can.
Right.
It's just a matter of will they, should they, could they? Yes.
Probably not, but we'll see. Talk about this before we got to wrap here. Talk about this Miss Pac-Man 40th anniversary.
Yeah. So
thank God they finally got a Pac-Man coming out. It's about time.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's the one thing everyone's clamoring for from Arcade 1-Up, but it's the one thing we all know pays the bills because it sells. But anyways, just popped up today for pre-order. This may look, to be a rerun, because technically it is. But if you're an astute Arcade 1-Up person, you'll know that this Miss Pac-Man 40th anniversary had only been sold as a, bare bones version at Walmart for $2.99. Didn't include a riser, didn't have a light up marquee, so it was about as stripped down as possible. For some, that was okay. For others, they're like, no, I want this machine, but I want all the bells and whistles. Well, it's been several months, but now here's your opportunity to have the bells and whistles. So available for pre-order now. You can get the Miss Pac-Man 10-in-1 40th anniversary machine, included with a riser, light up marquee, all the things people wanted, but they didn't want to pay for. Now available, $449.
Hey, they requested, they wanted those features, so, they're going to charge you for it. It looks nice. I mean, it looks nice. Again, yay.
I mean, teach their own. Like, I'm a fan of the wood grain aesthetic. I know a lot of people hate it just because it's fake and faux or whatever.
But, well, the arcades had the same fake stuff. That wasn't real. That stuff on the sides.
Teach their own. It gives you that nostalgic feel.
What's the
game? Reminds me of? I'm gonna be serious. Know what that reminds me of? Most certainly, how Boba Fett is a fake version of the Mandalorian. How Boba Fett is a sucky show compared to the Mandalorian. And if it wasn't for Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian being on that show, it would have been down the toilet, and that's what it is. Boba Fett sucks. Hashtag.
Okay.
Or hashtag Boba Fett.
What games are on this? Does anybody know? Because I was looking through it as Glenn was ramping on.
I mean, as things naturally go, the posting is not well done. But if you search Arcade 1-Up Miss Pac-Man on Walmart, you'll see the $2.99 version, which has the exact same game lineup.
Okay. So it's
the
same.
Nothing's changed game-wide. Like I said, it's exact same thing as the $2.99 version, only it comes with the riser and a light-up marquee this time. So
it's a nicer looking cabinet. In my opinion, that's the nicer looking one.
I like my all pink one, the first one that they came out with. I
bet you
really
do.
I like
I
it's
bet you do.
well it's blue. I shouldn't
Old
say it's
man
pink.
yells
It's
at
blue.
cloud is what Fulgore in the chat just said. Mhm.
But I do. I like the original baby blue with the pink on it and the yellow. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe
And spoiler alert: if anybody's under the impression that there's not going to be a Pro Series or an extra large series Pac-Man or 10 of them from Arcade One Up in the future, tell you this right now. Let me look into my crystal ball. Yep, all signs point to it's freaking happening, whether you like it or not.
So here's the question. Everybody that's out there right now, if you guys have like what I have and some of the other guys have, where we have a full arcade with this, with these 3/4 scales, are you going to start selling off your arcades now and then turn around and start buying the quote-unquote full-size 67-inch Pro Series?
Michael B is screwed.
I was going to say, he's one that has a ton of them. Or are you just going to, if you sell them, like I'm seriously considering selling all of mine, except for a few cabinets and 2 pinball tables, just to have room back, because we've moved more toward console gaming down here. I just feel like the nostalgia is slowly wearing off on having a room full of these cabinets. Like having
but you bring up a
one
good
cabinet.
point. You bring up a good point, because if you have a collection, you've got a bunch. I got still some that survived here. You have a bunch. Do you really sell all of them? Because you want them to match. You
Right.
want these small ones next to big ones.
Right.
So, but again, remember, think of how many you fit in your basement with a 3/4 scale.
Right.
You're going to lose some space going to the larger machines. Now you're going to get less. And are they going to release the Star Wars in more full size? Are they going to release
Doug?
Tron in a more full size?
Get
Like
your
the
crystal
Captain
ball
America?
out. Get your crystal ball out. Are we getting a Star Wars?
Oh, 100%.
There you go, Glenn.
That one's, I mean, let me just put it like that. It's one. Sorry,
It's a given. It's a license thing. It's a given.
It's a given thing, but like I almost said, it's so simple. It's just it's low hanging fruit. But then again, I thought, hey, Arcade One Up has a track and field cabinet that they've yet to release. What would have been a great announcement time? The freaking Olympics. Hey, Arcade One Up is undoubtedly going to do an NFL Blitz cabinet one of these days. What would have been a great announcement time? The Super Bowl.
Stop.
So, they don't always make sense, so I have to immediately retract that. But
you're giving them free marketing. Stop.
Arcade One Up knows how to make money. They know how to rehash and reissue the same things. Star Wars is a no-brainer. Just make it taller. Make it that Atari side shape, because it was the first machine that really started.
It's the Winter Olympics. The track and field.
We knew about the track and we knew about the track and field back in summer. It was the only thing that was part of the the leak that didn't actually get revealed. So I mean, just
I'm with Doug on
this
one.
Missing the low hanging fruit.
I gotta say, I friggin' love this show. We fucking rule. This is a great show.
But yes, if you're one of those people that's complaining and seeing people selling on eBay the Atari Star Wars Arcade One Up machine for $700, $800, $900, which I've seen that more frequently than I expected. Yes, you'll get an extra large or a Pro Series Arcade One Up Star Wars trilogy, not Star Wars trilogy, just Star Wars Atari cabinet. No brainer, easy to do. I mean, if they don't do that Arcade One Up, you're freaking idiots.
They're selling my used. They're selling my sit down one for $1,500 on eBay.
They're trying to.
Really?
If anyone's paying $1,500 for the sit down one,
A couple of people bought it under what is it that sold for $1,200, $1,300 for it, and I'm like, why? Somebody wants to buy it for $600. I'll tell you when to pick it up. I'm just being honest. Like, I like it, but you're gonna offer me $600 for the used cabinet? Sure, cheers. Anyways, we got to wrap here just in a few minutes. So, Doug, your final thoughts.
Already?
Yeah, it's.
Final thoughts. My hair is kind of hiding it, but I have a black eye.
How'd you do that?
Somebody kneed me in the face at the gym on Tuesday.
Your wife finally let you have it. She finally let you have it, Doug.
Apparently, it's frowned upon about hitting a pregnant woman in the most states. So, yeah, I had to come up with this elaborate excuse. No, we got fights coming up, so training is getting a little more intense at the gym. But I'm coming for you, guy. I'm not going to say your name on the air, but I do know you watch my program, and I know you know that you did this, and I'm coming for you. That's all I'm going to say.
Dun 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 dun. All right, Mr. Oh, well, wait here. Before we get to him, youtube.com/cooltoy. Go check it out. Subscribe if you haven't. And check out some of his
Unsubscribe. Unsubscribe.
I got a new thing I'm going to plug tonight, but go ahead. We got Glenn Planamento, youtube.com/Glenn Planamento. And if you look, noticed, Glenn, I have hashtag Trongate on your lower third. I've had it there almost the whole show.
Trongate still in full effect.
Full
still
effect.
In full effect. Yep.
What are you etching or soldering or both?
I'm doing soldering. I saw someone doing this on Facebook today, so I said, you know what? Maybe let's try soldering it like this. My finger really hurts, but I have better accuracy.
That's usually how I do it. How would you normally do it?
Well, any intelligent person would take the soldering iron and hold it where it doesn't get hot.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't hold it where it gets hot. Why would you hold it where it gets hot? What's wrong with you?
I saw it on Facebook. There's got to be the way you do it.
I thought I have one that's a lower profile than that you can actually hold it down lower. That's why I was like, okay, I hold mine like that. So what do you? And then you're like, I'm holding the hot spot. I'm like, what are you doing? All right. Well, guys, we really appreciate you tuning in. And I want to throw this out there because I had a few of you guys message me saying, I didn't know you did outdoor stuff. I do. I make a lot of content for outdoors. I do a lot of product reviews and not stuff that's just sent to me. I do have a bunch of sponsors with that. But if you are interested, I do have a website designated and dedicated to this. I put a lot of time. That's why you don't see a lot of reoccurring arcade repeat videos coming out like, that's all over the internet. We'll just say it like that. I put a lot of time. I built and done a lot of videos. My wife gets involved. You can go to noboundariesoutdoors.com. And I'd really appreciate it if you went over to youtube.com/noboundariesoutdoors. I've gone to a lot of the different trade shows and interviewed a lot of the different companies, done tests with some of this. So if you're into archery, if you're into fishing, if you're into hunting in general, one of my biggest sponsors is Scent Crusher, where we deal with a lot of ozone for scent control and things like that. So if you're interested in checking out some of that, if you, like me, even though you do all this stuff, you like to get away from this stuff when the spring and the summer comes and just detox. Doug, he likes to go beat people up. I don't go and beat people up. I like to go out, sit by the lake.
You like to murder animals.
I like to sit on the boat and get my food for the winter. And even if I don't catch anything, I just like to sit there and just rock on the boat in the waves. That's my calm place.
That's your happy place. Yeah.
That's my happy place. Or sit in a tree stand. Even if I don't shoot anything, I just like to sit there.
Bambi's mom.
It's a way to just detox.
Mom.
Hey, even the meat. Hey, at least I kill it ethically, unlike the meat that you get in the store. I'm just saying.
Yeah, hitting with the car is not good. That's how I do
it. So, anyways, guys, we will be back next week, and I appreciate everybody. It was my call last week to cancel my wife's birthday. I appreciate everybody understanding that. I totally forgot until we got closer.
Well, you got no black eye, so you did the right call.
Yeah, I didn't want a black eye. I was like, guys, I forgot it's my wife's birthday, and I mean, I knew her birthday was coming up, but I forgot it was Friday. I thought maybe it was Saturday. So I was like, yeah, I gotta go. So, but yeah, we'll be back next week with more Retro Buzz. We appreciate it, guys. Until next time, keep it buzzing, and I'll wait for you, Glenn.
Buzz.